Internet! Hello, you absolute lovelies. Let's talk all about Andor Season 2, Episode 4, which is Episode 1 of this second block of Andor. Now, this is really interesting to me because I am a weekly release guy. I love when shows have time to breathe. I hate the binge model, but this has been really interesting. I think this model actually works for my sensibilities because I'm a movie guy. Like, I generally prefer the 3-act structure of a movie. I like something that's 2 to 3 hours. I like that experience, but I do love long-form television as well, and I feel like I'm getting both with Andor. I'm getting movies in a 3-act structure released every week that gives me a little bit of both. I was wrong last week. I thought we had 9 episodes. I misremembered the first season. We actually get 12, so we don't get 3-act structures. We get 4 these 3-act structures. We get this giant sweeping epic over the next 4 weeks, and this is the second block of those, so I'm going to be diving into each and every one separately. If you guys keep showing up, a lot of people in the comments saying they enjoyed me reviewing each episode. Keep it up. Please get in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of this. Please also leave a like, and if you're new to this page, please hit that subscription bell. I cover movies, TV. I cover lots and lots of comic books. I read 50 to 70 comics a week, and I review from that lens. I also tell you my favorite comics every single week, so if you love comics, movies, or TV, please join me on this journey. Let's talk about Andor. Andor is one of those shows that manages to be a slow burn, but in a way that feels like you lean in to the world, not out from the spectacle. And then when you get to the spectacle, it is so deserved and it feels like you've been leaning in so long you're part of that world. I'm so impressed that we've gotten to the point where they'll bring us an entirely new direction for a character, as we're getting with Ghorman, that dude that I found entirely unlikable. I love that we're getting into a world of conflict where we've got Deidre basically running this whole, enterprise, and her guy is turning, into a local. He's becoming someone sympathetic to the cause. He's starting to see merit in rebellion, and he's such an Empire guy. And I love that the relationship with his mother feels like a natural progression. It's like they gave him enough backstory through his mother and that embarrassment. He wouldn't want to be complicit in something. He wants to find something to rebel against. He wants to come out against this thing that's been stifling him his whole life, in the case of the Empire and his mother. And I love that you can kind of infer that. This show is so good at giving you things to infer, implications on things. Even the last beat of the show, it feels like they're inferring something very strongly, and you don't even know that little device. You don't know what those drops are, but it feels like hard drugs. It feels like coping, and I love that the show doesn't over-explain stuff, but it trusts the audience, and it's such a well-written show. It's so smart that it is addressing all these horrible things, but it's letting you believe and interpret things as you want without, overloading you with backstory. So we've got, 3 major storylines again in this second of the 4 acts. And I really love that this one feels like, setting up Cassian Andor to go on another mission, and how after the events with his wife, what Bix went through, the last thing he'd want to do is leave, but he's still in service to the rebellion. So there's the trauma of the horror she went through that's affecting her, that's causing her to see things and have these nightmares, that's making her want to do things, to feel free. She wants the freedom to walk around the park, but he's going to stay vigilant and paranoid. That's a very logical way for her to feel, and I love that we're addressing that. And then at the end, what I assume are drugs, that's how she's having to navigate getting through this, and how brutal and painful that is. I love the scene of their relationship and the little hand thing that they were going through that feels like, their ritual, something that's beautiful and a bond for them before he leaves, because he has to leave all the time, and how she understands but is going through it. That storyline, beautiful. And I love, again, that we've got Skarsgård basically setting him up to have to do another mission. I love Skarsgård, being at this taut, always clenched fist energy, and he had the wig on when he was like, dancing in that little wedding sequence in the first, just, doing what you have to do through rebellion, pretending to be in a place of comfort, and at the same time running these covert affairs. Now wigs off, he's in the throes of how he actually feels and what's going on. We've also got a little bit of that storyline with her from that that wealthy wedding planet. We've seen the very beginnings of where this arc is going to go, and everything going on with Coruscant. And then we've also got the Ghorman planet, which I'm really fascinated by. With Ghorman, I love that the spider economy feels like a definite mislead, and they've said as much. Like, what is it about this planet that's so interesting? Are they building a fortress here? All those things. But we're so invested in the locals. We're so invested in the small town that doesn't exist. We're so invested in these people. And something about the spiders, there's something in, like, human nature where we're afraid of spiders. There's this crazy uncanny valley-esque thing where it's like, it's just off-putting enough that, like, I see something with like 16 legs that's less odd than something with 8 legs, and certainly something with 4 legs seems more approachable. But something about an 8-legged, 8-eyed thing, and there's that concept of like, there's a reason we fear things. We fear snakes because of, venom. We fear all these things. Most spiders can't hurt you. So what causes us to instinctively be afraid of spiders? Were there giant spiders that used to kill us? But I love that spiders are something that, inherently makes us uncomfortable and fearful, and using those as a positive to make you uncomfortable through all this Empire treachery is really interesting. This guy that is going through this transformation, and the visual of the spider and how just unpleasant it felt and what that's going to be. Love the town hall. Love that dude they cast that looks so much like a drawing, that's trying to, be the radical, trying to figure out what's going on, and them authentically not knowing. I love the distrust. Like, is he safe in this environment? What do they want from him? How much does anyone really know? The tapping into his phone. Again, all the stuff with the mom setting him up to be someone that wants to consider maybe figuring this out. Then we've got the beginnings of what, Deirdre's doing on the Empire side, and like the horrors of not just the way propaganda needs to work, but then the execution of it into having too many prisoners to get the job done. What a terrifying thing. Just like the inhumanity of it. Like, the workflow at the office isn't working because of these human beings we're having to process, and just the evil coldness of that with the Empire. It was just a jarring sequence. And I really appreciate the fact that we're seeing these other sides. Way back in the early 90s, Kevin Smith made Clerks and had all the commentary on day-to-day workers at the Death Star, and how, the Rebel Alliance killed all these innocent people that were just contractors, and contractors working at the Death Star. Like, you weren't part of the Empire. But then this is now, all these years later, the other side, the minutia of things like the processing of prisoners when you take over a planet, when you're this evil empire capable of all these things, and the day-to-day office work of it, and like being indoctrinated into it, and all these fascinating angles through this show that is just building out the evil of the Empire and then the rebellion growing at the same time. This two-hander of, we're getting as much screen time with the Empire as we are with, what is becoming the Rebels, and everything leading up to Rogue One. I think it's such a masterpiece of dialogue, of narrative, of 12 hours building up to something we have already seen, where we know where it ends, but we're still going to be horrified by it. I can't wait to recontextualize Rogue One, just as this recontextualizes the original trilogy. I can't wait to watch one day, probably not right away, but in like 5 years when I've forgotten a lot of Andor, season 1 into season 2 into Rogue One. As it is, I'll probably watch Rogue One as season 2 ends. But in a few years, watching all of it as this one incredible journey about a galaxy far, far away that is oh so very human, and dealing with our problems today. We deal with propaganda today. I love the conversation about Empire-funded TV and how that makes you think certain things. I love these human beings on this small spider economy-fueled planet just being people that are trying to survive, and like, the Empire making them out to be evil, and why would they be doing propaganda if that's the end game? What does that mean? What do they want out of this planet? Like, in real life, we have situations like that, and it's just so fascinating to see on a galaxy far, far away scale. And I think that is what fiction can do. I've said it in a few videos, but I think that's the power of genre content, the Trojan horse of morality and ethics. And I think this show is nailing that. Again, this is episode 1 of 3. I'm going to do the next one. It'll be up probably like half an hour after you're seeing this. Last week, I put these all up right as the episodes were ending, but I realized after posting them, because people didn't start finding them for hours, people aren't going to stop watching, episode 4, watch people's thoughts, episode 5, watch people's thoughts. They're probably going to go episodes 4, 5, and 6, and then watch people's thoughts. So I'm going to be posting this as the 6th episode ends, and then about half an hour to an hour later, depending on how quickly I can get through watching these and reviewing and making thumbnails and all that for you, on to the next one. So hopefully within half an hour to an hour of you watching this point in the video, I'll have episode 5 up for you. Either way, hit that subscription bell. I would love to share my thoughts on the next arc. I love that this was all building action, building conflict, building suspense, building tension. We're about to go into inciting incidents, tying in beautifully with Cassian Andor's new mission and whatever's going on with Spider Planet. And then finally, big climactic action, and then we'll be halfway through season 2 just tonight. So gonna be diving into that right here. Subscribe, like if you like this video, leave a comment below. What did you think of Andor season 4 episode 1? Also, correction from last week, a lot of you said you didn't think that the uncle archetype guy that we lost, I forget his name, so sorry, Braxton, the incredibly kind, gentle farmer from the first season that had like, you know, Pa Kent meets Uncle something vibe, that he was not betrayed by his friend, and that was like a little double, you know, ruse they were playing. I think you were right, but I was going through everything so quickly, but I think you were right. All right, I will be back in half an hour to an hour with episode 4. I hope to see you there. Let me know again what you thought in the comments below. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.